Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm John.
I'm Charles.
I'm Audie.
And I'm Seth.
And we've got some exciting discussion,
And
I think,
this
today.
is my new big mug. Yes, it is. Drink it in all of its glory.
I think John may be making up for a lack of something. So, we're going to be talking about Barbarella. This month is the 50th anniversary of Barbarella. And in honor of that, we thought we would watch the show and talk about it and give you our impressions. Now, I had never fully seen the show until I watched it with you guys, really. Mm-hmm. And
Had any of us?
No, I've never seen it.
I've seen
I haven't
it.
seen it all.
I have seen it. And I totally, it wasn't something that was jumping to memory.
right.
But seeing it with you guys,
Yeah.
well, I didn't see it with you guys, but
You were there in spirit.
discussing it with you guys.
Yes. Thinking of us watching it with you.
He was there in Mathmos.
Honestly, it is, I would highly recommend it as a group experience
Yes.
because the back and forth between the people when they do some of the things that they do is
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good show, I thought.
I did too.
Interesting design choices. It's the first time I'd ever seen a spacecraft interior with shag carpeting
carpet.
everywhere.
I think
Thick.
it's just, I don't think it's shag. I think it's just straight up fur lining.
Yeah.
I thought it was shag. It was like, it looked like some of the really, really extravagant shag from the 70s because, I mean, I was there.
Yeah.
And they did love their shag.
Yeah.
Oh, they loved their shag.
Well, I missed the 70s, so...
Yeah.
I had friends whose whole vans were covered like that inside. So
Listen,
I know, well, there you go. And it's like, you know, there's nothing good happening in a van that has like shag carpet on the walls.
Ugh.
So, yeah.
my folks would always tell me
Don't
that
get in the van.
when I was about 10 years old, and they asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up, I said, I just want to be in an air-conditioned, because air conditioning was relatively new
yeah.
when I was young. I want to be in an
How
air
old are you?
I mean, it was available in a lot of businesses, but,
Yeah.
you know. But I would tell them I wanted to be in an air-conditioned motel room with a computer and a blue shag carpet.
That's a very specific life goal.
I know, it was. It was.
Do you still visualize that? What you were thinking?
I
in your
do.
head? How,
I still have it right here.
How many inches was the shag?
Oh, it was probably like
So
that.
a good 3 or 4 inch.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's a straight up
That is-
70s shag right there.
that is
that
so weird.
Yes.
But it was so normal in like 1972.
And
Yeah,
when I
it was.
and when I saw Barbarella in her spaceship, basically air-conditioned motel room,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Surrounded by computers, right?
Ooh.
And with the shag carpeting. It wasn't blue, of course, but it brought all those memories flooding back to me of what I wanted when I grew up.
Yes. And now that it's vocalized,
What could
Yeah.
have
stay
been,
tuned for the next episode.
where the entire studio will be redone in 3-inch blue shag.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That you know, it
You'd
would
have
be.
to vacuum the walls.
Yeah.
Especially with Yellow Labs.
I'm actually surprised it disappeared in sci-fi because I think we had a discussion about
Yeah.
how many injuries on Star Trek
Could have been prevented.
avoided if they just had shag carpet.
Yeah, on
Or
all
at
the
least padded
consoles.
walls.
We never had that conversation, but we should. I
No,
don't
we
know.
did at the-
We
You
did.
missed it.
Yeah, we did at the viewing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah, every time the Enterprise gets hit, somebody crashes their head into a console. What if that was had some nice...
We watched it, then we went out for lunch, and then we just kind of said, "Oh well, yeah."
See the gravity go out, and they're all clinging to the shag.
Yeah,
And they're
give you
flying.
something to hold on to.
I like it. I do. That is a good idea. Yeah, why
Yeah.
not? Why not?
Well, I mean, look at how cars have evolved. When I was a kid, cars had metal dashboards,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember Dad hitting the brakes and people hitting their heads on that metal console when we were kids.
Yep.
And the back of,
Was
I've
that on
got a
purpose?
little scar
Yeah.
here on my forehead somewhere.
This
when-
explains a few things about how Bill
Yeah.
is the way he is today.
Right. when I was a kid, we took a vacation somewhere and we had this big long station wagon, and a bunch of us kids were way in the way back, part of the station wagon.
Not strapped down
And,
in any way, means, or
No,
There-
not strapped down.
there weren't
And the
any.
back seat, the very rear seat had like this metal trim around the back edge of it with a little metal lip that stuck up about that far. And I don't know, us kids were wrestling, fighting, arguing, screaming, scratching, and Dad had had enough, and he slammed on the brakes. And he hit the brakes, and I flew forward and hit my head on that seat, cut my forehead open, and of course, my mom went postal when that happened.
yeah.
My dad was in the doghouse for quite a while
Well,
from that.
I mean, a well-designed early '70s car.
Was a
and
death
getting
trap.
in
It was a death trap.
Getting in an accident will kill the family, but you just hose off the dashboard and sell it. Then. It's like it's ready to go.
Right. So my point is,
Should we be designing spaceships like that?
but my point is, we learned the lesson. Now look at today, and cars have all these safety features, soft backs, rounded edges everywhere, padding, and all this kind of stuff, seat belts,
Sounded like a little
airbags.
tiny
Yeah.
senior moment there. Back in my day,
Yeah,
the-
right.
the-
Now
the
you would think
cars killed people.
spacecraft would be designed because
They should all have crumple zones.
right,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're subject to a lot more forces than an automobile would be when you make changes in space or you hit debris or something like. You've got a lot more kinetic energy there because you're going at higher speeds.
Well, that's why you have shields, though. So
If you
Right.
have them, that's
Yeah.
very beneficial. I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the Enterprise when they were rocking, and the guys would fly this way into this console, and then they'd fly that way and slam
Yeah.
into that console.
But-
And if they had them all padded and shag carpeting, there might have been a lot
Yeah,
less
I just see
injuries.
Chekhov right now just grabbing onto his fur line or his
Yeah,
shag
holding
line console,
on.
and he's like, I'm just gonna
all right. So one of the things I liked about the Expanse was like when the Rocinante gets shot, the stuff just goes like straight through it. It doesn't do a whole bunch of the ship rocking stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But if they had that shag carpeting everywhere, when the hull is breached, it just gets filled with the shag.
Right. It would be a self-sealing deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be like that tire fill stuff. When you have a flat fix-a-flat, you just pump it in, and it's
Yeah.
got stuff in it that fills your leaky tire and gets you on the road at least for a while.
saved by the shag again.
Well, and space would make a good vacuuming system.
Yeah.
Just every so often you just
Yeah. Open
open
the.
part of it.
Yeah.
NASA,
Open the
call
door.
us.
clean.
NASA,
Yeah.
call us. We've got great ideas.
We have great ideas. We do. Yes, the vacuuming, the disinfecting, all the things.
Now,
Right away.
the part that I thought was most interesting was the beginning, after the credits.
Yeah, you. Oh,
After the credits,
I was going to
And-
say, of course you found that part
well,
interesting.
and Barbarella gets a call from the president of Earth and the Sol system.
Well, you missed the part where she was like the first 5 minutes. She's taking off a spacesuit.
Yes.
For some reason, she's in this shagmobile, which
Right.
is what I'll call her spaceship from now on. But
The Shag ship.
she decides to wear almost no clothes on an alien planet, but for some reason inside of her own ship, she's wearing this really terrible spacesuit that's
Right.
coming off a piece at a time.
Right.
And obviously, it's like photo porn.
Now, the interesting thing about that was we actually looked up because we were wondering how that was filmed. Was she
I was wondering how they
hooked
did
with
that.
wires?
Did she have to hold her breath while
It was
liquid
very-
drained from the?
No,
the-
it was very low tech. She's actually sitting on a large plexiglass sheet up above the
Shag.
ship, the Shag ship, with the camera shooting straight down from above. And then she's just kind of, twisting rolling around on the plexiglass and
Oh,
taking off her
I
suit.
thought you were talking about the drain. You remember when visor
Oh,
comes
right.
Oh,
in,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
yeah.
like in a fishbowl. And then
Right,
all of a
right, right.
sudden you
Yeah,
see
that
it.
was
we
strange.
never could figure out why that was necessary.
Why or how they did that.
Yeah.
And it's like her eyes are like right above the rim like this.
I
You
know.
She's like, come on. You know, that's how the spacesuit would work. It's like, I sure hope nothing's happening down here where I can't see.
Yeah, and it was quite strange. But to go back to what I was saying was, she gets a call from the president, and she says, "Well, excuse me, I'm going to go put on something, some clothes."
No,
And
it's
he
a
says-
matter of state.
Yeah, no, this is a matter of state. That's not
Don't bother.
necessary.
All the while looking down.
Yes.
Just like,
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think he was kind of a creepy president.
Yeah.
we wouldn't know anything about that.
No.
Right. Now, so then she gets the order from the president to go seek out Duran Duran, and we're not talking about the band. We're talking about
Although, where
Well,
did they
technically,
go?
we are.
Where did
'cause-
they go?
the Duran Duran, the band.
Yeah. They just don't.
They
maybe
just disappeared.
playing the Iowa County Fair and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
probably.
now?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
out there.
Did they turn evil?
They may they may have been absorbed. Yeah, so Duran Duran is the name of a mad scientist, essentially, who's created this power particle weapon, right? And Earth's afraid that it's going to fall into the wrong hands.
Well, at this point, we know he's created a weapon. And she's like, what? Why would anyone need a weapon? We haven't had weapons in
Centuries.
years, centuries.
Yeah.
And then she loads up her armloads with weapons. Before
Well,
she
he
exits
sends
the
her.
ship.
He sends her
Oh, that's right.
through the atomizer,
Yeah,
basically Barbarella's version of a transporter.
yeah.
These guns that they happen to have
In a
in the
museum.
archive museum somewhere, right? And one of them has like a hand on the end of the
It's a handgun,
stock.
Bill.
That's right, handgun. He stole my joke.
Thank God someone did. Thank God.
You know what? That's it. I was saving this for an opportune moment, but if anyone watching may have noticed this on the table, there is a reason for this. I have decided to dedicate my life to the Dark Gourd. And from this point forward, I will
I
be
know where you can stick that word.
I will be a member of his
It's already been there.
force.
It does. It looks.
Those of you listening just via audio may not have been able to see just a little bit of John Dye right there.
Just gonna give you a shot of that.
Yes.
Dude. I'm seriously, we should change the name of the show to the Wine and Cheese Show. Because it's like, sometimes we whine about social issues on here, but you always have the cheesy puns. So it's like little wine, little cheese.
I'm just trying to figure out what outfit I need to be an acolyte of the Dark Gourd.
I think
Well, you have to have a funny hat to go with it.
well, I feel
Maybe
that
a
Yeah, there you go. Right
hat
there.
that looks like the stem of the gourd.
what Dildano was wearing would work out just well. Who was another star
Another star of Barbarella,
of Barbarella.
right?
The valiant leader of the resistance.
You need
Yes.
an outfit with a pumpkin patch.
Ooh.
Sorry to everybody for that.
See,
No, you're
I think
not.
you're down to. I think he's down to like 9,000 now. We were talking about
and
the number
he's
of
got all the
puns,
time.
his pun allotment.
It looks like some kind of weird four-assed creature that just roams the world. Its mouth would be on the bottom.
Well, I saw this and I thought it was unique enough that
Might be a
it fit our
five-ass creature.
podcast. It's not like a normal pumpkin gourd type thing. It's vaguely pumpkin shaped for those of you listening in audio. It's black, and then it has these odd
Butt-shaped.
ass-like protrusions all around its equator.
Equator.
Need some
Yes.
googly eyes.
That's what I was thinking, and I kind of looked around, but I couldn't find any at the store where I picked that up.
That
so
would be awesome. Yes.
we may have to come up with a
A
name
couple of
for
green
him.
pitted olives.
We have a mascot now.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
until he rots.
Oh, that's too bad.
Mascots are best when you replace them at a regular interval, though.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm going to call it Veggie Overlord because I think it wants to conquer us.
I think it could.
It looks belligerent. It does. At least 4 of the 5 ass faces look like it means business.
Right.
We could come up with a whole mythology around the many-assed Dark Gourd.
Oh yes, the many-assed Dark Gourd.
Yep. It was as terrible as
Which
it was
I
great.
think may be the name of this episode.
Many-assed Dark Gourd. I like it. I do. I like that a lot.
That is a great episode name. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Done. We need a gavel.
Yes, we do.
You've got the Dark Gourd.
Yes, you do.
And done.
That was
Nice. Oh, that was nice.
appropriately
Good reverb.
Science
ominous,
fiction-y.
yeah.
Almost sounded like he was firing photons at the same time he was.
We're sending the Dark Gourd to the Phantom Zone.
Yes.
It's like
Condemning it to the Mathmos.
the Mathmos.
So the Mathmos
Matmos.
was
Matmos.
another character, essentially, I guess, in the show. It was the personification of evil in the form of a
Lava
energetic liquid. Yeah.
See, I don't know if it was evil insofar as it's innate nature. I feel that whoever that Dark Queen was just fed it evil, and then that was its diet.
It refused to eat Barbarella because she was too good.
Because it had refined a diet of evil for a great.
You're saying it would have given her indigestion, or given it indigestion?
Perhaps a less tainted Mathmos would just take
anything.
Take anything. Maybe if you fed it positive energies, it would be a positive Mathmos.
So Barbarella's like gluten.
To the evil Matmos, yes, just like
So
like
the
lactose
Matmos
intolerance. Barbarella made it
vomited up Barbarella and Pygar. Pygar was this
blind
angel who had lost the will to fly.
I thought he lost the will to act. To tell you the truth, he seemed a little flat. I'm just gonna say,
yeah. But he'd lost the will to fly until such time as Barbarella
inspired
him in a way that only she could do.
Yeah. How did she do that, Bill?
Shag carpeted him.
Shagged him.
Yeah.
Well, John, when Barbarella and an angel man feel very strongly for each other,
you just made Barbarella and Pygar their own genders.
I'm pretty sure they are.
You may be right. You may be right on that.
Actually, I think the Ketchman is his own gender. The Ketchman, Ketchman was a weird character in the show. The first character that introduces Barbarella to normal sex, what we call normal sex, the sex that Barbarella has in the future. They take a pill. They hold their hands out towards each other like this for a minute or until full rapture is achieved.
They think real hard. Yeah.
Right?
Sex is thinking hard.
Yeah. And
causes hair to undergo weird transformations.
Yeah. So, because he was actually, it's like one of the first film Sasquatch sightings. Cause
I think so.
Literally, it's like, but it was hilarious that he had that fursuit. He had a fursuit for our listeners.
Right. And what was it like? Describe it.
It was literally, honestly, it was kind of like a fake gorilla suit.
He reminded me of a clean-shaved Wookiee.
Yes, like a Wookiee outfit without the head.
Yeah.
He had a full beard.
Right, and this is because he lived in the frozen wastelands of Weir,
which Barbarella's running around in like a bikini.
Right, and so he's wearing this
like
full fursuit.
Yeah,
full fursuit. She's running around in tights and a bikini, basically.
But then he takes it off. He takes it off, and he's like
more fur underneath.
Where they found this
shaggy
hairy man.
This hairy Italian
I'm
monstrosity.
pretty sure they just like glued more hair to him.
Did you think they added hair? Yeah, I guess there was hair in places, because like right here,
Yeah.
on the shoulder, not underneath in the armpit, on the top of the shoulder.
Well, he was an alien.
Well,
No, I
I,
thought he was a
but-
human.
I think he was actually the one good guy
Yeah.
because
He couldn't have been a good guy.
no, he was the good guy
Why,
because
why couldn't he be a good guy?
Because he's working for
Well, I mean,
he's working
because-
for the evil
Yeah,
organization.
he was the catchman. He would catch the children and take them for
but
every time
services.
And-
every
yeah,
time
but that's it. They were
Dear
culling the
God.
children.
Let somebody else talk.
It's like, sorry. Please,
every time
Please continue.
the other people had hand sex and Angel went blind.
Well, maybe I should just keep talking. Just a thought. Are you trying to use up all those 9,000 bad puns
in this show.
in this show? In your endo. Yeah.
So, but not only does he work for the evil organization, but he repairs Barbarella's stabilizers in reverse.
In reverse.
Yeah.
Well, and he nets children.
Well,
Right.
the children are legitimately evil, so maybe he's like ultimately morally neutral, but I think he's actually a bad guy.
Are the children evil, or are the children just left to their own devices?
Wild.
Because it sounds to me like they were just left to go wild and run around the forests of Weir doing whatever they wanted to until they reached, quote, a serviceable age. Whatever that means.
Let's
then
not
the
explore
catchman,
that.
Then the
Yeah.
catchman would go out,
Yeah.
round them up,
But-
and take them back to Sogo, which was the capital city
But they're-
built
so, yeah.
over the Lake of
But they are
Mathmos.
wild kids capable of programming their dolls and giving
Right.
them metal teeth.
Right.
So that they will eat.
Strangers.
Eat strangers
Strangers.
alive. But they couldn't digest the strangers, so where's all that meat going?
What do you think the kids eat?
Raw, shredded
Person.
alien
Yeah.
person.
And every single kid there was a creepy twin.
Yeah, that was weird. Maybe twins are commonplace on that planet.
And evil?
They never explained that. And
No,
I
they
think that
didn't.
was pre-public thinking twins were evil.
Mm,
I'm not sure, but
back
Well, I
in the
have to
early-
agree. Twins are evil. All the twins I know.
What makes you say that, Audie?
Life experience.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It is the official stance of Galactic Driftwood that all twins are evil.
Yes. Here.
I don't know that that's the stance we necessarily want to take on twins.
Right.
Just because there might be some.
I think twins are fine.
I
I've
Yeah.
never experienced an evil twin. Now, now, here's a question. When you say evil twin,
your evil
you're
twin
not
not
talking
have a
about
beard?
both twins being evil. When I say evil twin, there's
usually
twins,
one.
and one of them is an evil twin, right?
well, one of them's always
But you're
been
saying, Audie,
comparatively evil.
They're evil. They're both
Both-
tandem evil.
it doesn't matter. Both
No,
are evil.
Both are evil. Yep.
As
So
far,
does it matter where you put the apostrophe? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think Audie's had a traumatizing experience with twins as a young child.
Yes.
And maybe he's blocked it.
No, not a young child. All through my adult life.
So would your evil twin be clean shaven?
Probably.
All right.
you're
And,
assuming,
he'd probably be good from my perspective.
From your perspective.
You're assuming that our resident mad scientist isn't the evil twin.
He is evil looking.
I think Barbarella could have used some adult female twins that were good.
Okay, please,
'cause-
please justify
Just because
that.
I,
Please.
You mean as part sidekicks for her,
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of like there's a crew on the Enterprise and you
right.
follow
You need some
Picard
twins.
and Riker and all that. You'd
Well,
have
why do they-
Barbarella.
Why do they have to be female?
He's
Because I'm talking about the kind of twins I like.
he's requesting more
Yeah.
scantily clad women
For any
in
other
Barbarella.
other show, I would say that's gratuitous, but it's Barbarella, so why not? Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. So we had the children with the bizarre metal-mouthed dolls, and you would think that Barbarella could just get away from the kids. I mean, she's an adult. They're children.
half her size.
And
yeah.
she's just kind of docilely letting them tie her up with ropes and
She succumbed to their children. What can they do? They're harmless.
then they bring out the metal teeth dolls.
Well, they'd already knocked her out with a diamond, right?
Right. Which was odd that they disguised it inside of a snowball.
Well, they didn't want to kill her.
Oh,
just
they
wanted to knock her
softened the blow.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, all right.
So they didn't want to kill her. They just wanted to kill her by doll.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's the supervillain.
Well, they wanted to keep the
Hence-
meat fresh until they were ready for it.
Hence why Audie thinks of twins as truly evil.
Yeah.
They don't want to kill you until they're ready to kill you.
Checks out with me.
Yeah. Huh. All right. Well, I can buy that. So then, so the Ketchman rescues Barbarella from the children with the chomping dolls and introduces her to good old-fashioned sex. And then, while she's recovering, he goes out and misrepairs her spaceship.
Repairs it in reverse.
Repairs it in reverse. And so she thanks him, she boards the spaceship, she takes off for Sogo and then realizes that the stabilizers are repaired in reverse. The ship starts to crash back towards the planet, and she has it activate the subterranean drilling systems, which every
Evidently all ship has.
spaceship should be equipped with
Makes
subterranean drilling
complete
systems.
sense on a spaceship to have
Yeah.
subterranean systems.
It does?
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Well,
'Cause you're
for
in
the
space?
same reason why you don't want to like take your spaceship into an ocean, because they're actually designed to resist pressure in exactly the opposite way. And it's like, I think they said it best on Futurama when they took their spaceship underwater and they asked the professor, how many pressures can this ship take? I don't know, somewhere between 0 and 1. It's like,
Right.
and that's about right, because
Yeah.
you're designing it to hold in the air,
Right.
not to resist pressure from outside. So it's two different actual designs.
But now, so they did that in one of the Star Trek movies, right? The J.J. Abrams movie. They had the Enterprise under the ocean. And could that work with the Enterprise using their structural integrity fields? Would that make a difference?
That sounds like a question for our resident engineer.
Yeah, with a lot of knowledge about structural integrity fields.
Based on your
Obviously, it works.
I mean, Charles, based on your extensive experience with starship design and energy physics, well, what do you think?
Bear in mind, this is a person who, when we drive by on bridges that he says he designs, like, I wouldn't drive on that. You really shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. I mean, you can, but you really shouldn't.
I think if giving submarines wings was a good idea, we would have done it a long time ago, right?
They kind of do have wings. Those,
Flying subs?
no,
Flying
they,
subs.
I saw that on Voyage to the
those
Bottom of the
wings
Sea.
on the
Yeah.
conning tower.
Oh, yeah. But those are more stabilizers. for-
Well, what are wings?
yeah, water
Yeah.
wings,
Yeah.
essentially.
To make
Yeah,
it hydrodynamic as opposed to aerodynamic.
right,
And different than Barbarella's stabilizers.
Yeah.
right.
They actually work.
Well,
As long as you don't repair them in reverse, they work fine.
So, see, Charles, this was your opportunity here to talk about structural integrity fields
Yes.
because there's nobody that could contradict you.
Yeah, you could say the gizmo goes into the whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone's like,
You
oh,
could be-
science.
You
It's
could
science.
be the
Yeah.
world's #1 expert on
on
structural integrity
Structural
fields.
integrity fields, yes.
You
Yeah,
are.
we
No.
can just actually just start proclaiming you the world's expert on that, and who's going to say
We might
no?
have to change his title on the website from chicanery extractor to structural integrity field expert.
Yeah,
I
just
like that. I do.
just don't make me the erection specialist.
Well, yeah, you keep saying the bridges you erected
That-
are going to go down.
That was
so
apparently
it's
the.
like,
Sorry.
no, please.
That was apparently the Ketchman who's.
Yeah, the erection expert.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
So we
does that
had the
count? Is that-
Ketchman.
Is that one of Charles's puns? I think that counts. I do.
It could. It's just one. Takes him down to 8,999.
Should there be a scale? I mean, in terms of both badness and intensity.
I think we'll have to work on that. We'll ask our listeners to contribute scaling ideas.
Please send all your puns to John for scaling and grading.
Ranking. Yeah.
Well, you can just respond to this. I mean, we have on the YouTube channel we post on. You can put comments, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Put comments there.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can also comment on the website
And Twitter.
and Twitter.
And Facebook.
And yes.
We're everywhere they want to
We
be.
kind of are now, aren't
Yeah.
we? We're like Big Brother.
Yeah, which is the big exciting news that I alluded to last time, actually. Two things. One, we're now on Spotify. Yay!
And there was much rejoicing.
Yes, it took a while. So now we literally are everywhere you want to be. And then we have a special announcement for the end of the show about next show, but we'll get to that then. I don't want to spoil the surprise too soon. So back to Barbarella. So we have the Ketchman, then she leaves there, and she crashes underground, right? She drills into the planet. Her ship hits a harder rock than I guess she was expecting to drill through. It crashes. It's further damaged. She gets out of the spacecraft and passes out on the ground, and all of a sudden here's this, you don't see his face, you just see kind of his arms, his hands, feeling her face and her torso, because unbeknownst to us, he's a blind angel. So he's trying to figure out who she is with his hands via touch. And we come to find out, we come to find out that he's Pygar, the depressed angel.
And not a frat boy feeling up the
Right.
unconscious girl.
Right. And
not angel food cake.
no,
Pygar.
right. And not Cake Gar.
And no. It hurts. It does. From every direction the puns are coming. It hurts so bad.
Well, Pygar is much more American.
You mean like apple Pygar?
Oh. Everywhere. They're coming from everywhere. It hurts.
Poor John's being pummeled to death.
That should have killed me. I am not sure how I lived through that. That was so much. It's like, ow.
So we have Pygar, the blind angel.
Very full of personality.
Yes, not. And then he takes her to the underground maze, where she meets the scientist. What was his name? Dr.
Dr. Ping.
Ping. Dr. Ping.
You know who that was?
Yeah, Marcel Marceau.
Yeah, and his only speaking role
I know.
ever.
Yeah.
And that
Marcel
was
Marceau's
why he only had the
famous-
one role.
Well, I mean, obviously this wasn't the role he should have debuted in, but it's like...
But for those who don't know, Marcel Marceau is a famous mime. Mimes are non-speaking actors. And so this was a speaking role for him. And he wasn't even in white face makeup or anything, like a mime.
This was also one of the very first comic book adaptations. Honestly, I now I don't know how the MCU was created after this. It was like, really?
You think they would have seen that and said, no, we're not doing
Nope.
that?
Yeah, that's
No way.
We're
We're out.
why should we do that? Look at Barbarella. That's why we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well-
Barbarella wasn't it a pretty big hit at the time?
It went
In-
over
in-
huge in England.
In England, but not so much in the United States.
Yeah.
Which at that time was the market they were shooting for. Now it's like the overseas options are huge, and it can actually like swing a deal for a remake. But it's like
Back then.
back then, not so much.
Well, I think comic book movies have survived worse since then. The Batman, what was it? Batman Returns, Batman and Robin,
Yeah, Bat nipples. Yeah, that was bad. That
Batman
was so
Forever.
bad. Batman Forever, Green Lantern.
We can't forget the Batawang.
No,
that never actually made it into a movie.
That's not a movie, but you know. Now you say it, I think there should be a 3-part movie series about the Batawang. how Batman's penis fights crime. I like it. I can see it.
I'm gonna rule 30 for you there. It probably already exists.
Yeah,
Oh,
good
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the deep dark realm of 4chan, I'm sure it's a big deal.
I know
What,
nothing
more
of such
current than
matters.
4chan?
There are other sources for your weird comic book porn than 4chan.
I'll take your word for it. I think we have another expert here.
Yeah.
It's like,
I am not going to claim expertise on that.
but I felt a butt coming.
But here's where
It's
you
like-
can find your comic book porn. Here's the list. Top 10.
It's called Google. Google it.
Yes.
Right.
I feel there's another.
So
answer
Pygar.
You're hiding from us.
So Pygar
Google-
takes her. She meets Dr. Ping, right? Scientist. And she realizes that in order to find Duran Duran, she has to get to Sogo, which is this city built on top of this ocean of, what they call it, energetic fluid.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that, but more ridiculous. I can't remember because it was
It was like,
energy in fluid form, or
yeah, something like that.
I
Anyway.
can't remember the specifics.
Evil.
Unfortunately,
The words they use.
energy
are good.
in liquid form.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Energy
I
in
actually
liquid
had
form.
a note.
Excellent. So, which we find out feeds on evil, and then in return for because all of the good people of Sogo were kicked out and sent to the maze to die. Only evil was in Sogo, and so she had to go there to try to find this Duran Duran because he's supposedly in Sogo. And so after having sex with Pygar and restoring his desire to fly, he takes off with Barbarella, and she tells him where to fly to get to the city of Sogo. And then, of course, the city of Sogo, the aerial defensive forces are attacking them in these flying ships. And Barbarella's using her various assorted guns to blow them out of the sky. So Barbarella was a much better shot than the professional
Well, not only that,
defensive forces of Sogo.
but he claimed, the angel claimed, that they didn't have love. He was love.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Right.
So she became one with him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting, this character who had no understanding of why anybody would develop a weapon
Yeah.
was very proficient with using a weapon.
Yes. Right. Never shot a weapon, and yet she was able to take out every ship she shot
Well,
at.
just
Yeah.
that one time. I mean, she pulled a weapon on the kids in the cave, and they promptly took that away from her. It was just like, most of the time she tried her weapons, just like they just took it away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that one time, no, she was really good at it. But
Yeah.
for most of the time, it's like, well,
And, I was very curious when she ran out of ammo in the one handgun that she had. She stuffed it down Pygar's bird shorts,
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
right? And I wondered why in the hell, it's an empty gun. She has no replacement ammo on her
I think she
scantily clad outfit that she had.
intended to use it as a bluff.
Right. Well, that's how she ended up using it, right? So
But the real purpose of that was proof for later that there actually was an intended plot to this show.
right.
That something
That there was some forethought.
into at least one action, there was some forethought
Yeah.
that it would come in handy later.
Right.
someone took a note saying, maybe this will
Right.
come in useful later.
Right.
And it's like, there's a later, there's a before, there's no timeline. But it's like, yes.
I think it was more or less, what can we do to torture Pygar? Oh, I know. She can stick this gun down his bird shorts and then stick her hand up there and fish around for it later.
Yeah.
And,
It'd be neat to see a blooper reel of her pulling
Yeah.
weird stuff out of Pygar's pants. It's like,
Well, yeah.
there was a blender in here. It's like, I don't even understand where that could have been. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it had to be.
Would the blooper reel of this show be awesome? I can't see how it would be anything less than, actually better than the show we saw.
Yeah.
I
It seems
think
to me there would
it'd
be
be
a lot
great.
of laughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you'd hope.
Yeah.
You'd hope it was all laughter and not just
Yeah. Disgust and
tears.
Oh,
Or,
right.
or,
I'll
or
do
if they're
another shooting.
serious. If they're serious about this, that would make me, that's tragic.
No,
Yeah.
If you're
no.
going
Right.
to take this
They
seriously.
couldn't have been serious.
I maintained that they just hotboxed the entire set and set an entire bale of weed on fire for the whole thing.
You know, that would actually explain a lot. That would. It's like, under that context, yeah, that works. It's like, okay, well, they did that. Okay, there we go. Makes it
How
much
d-
easier to watch.
How do we design a spaceship, man? Just fur all over on the walls.
Yeah.
Looks like a badly designed camper shell, but yeah, it's our spaceship. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and
Let's
the
use
first
that.
character, let's just, any extra fur we have, we'll just put on him.
we got a few extras, patch it to his shoulders. It's like, it's okay.
Right, he's an alien.
Yeah, so one of the things about the Catchman is like he takes off that fur and his vehicle is full of other furs. So I'm just assuming that they were all just his.
That he grew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
And took off at some point.
He's like a space sheep, and they just they
They
shear
shear him
every once in a
periodically.
while,
He shears himself and makes his own outfits.
yeah.
I was hoping he was a trapper, but this is
This makes more sense. Because I
But
didn't
yes,
see many
but yeah.
animals.
Makes more sense in Barbarella.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
those words shouldn't actually exist.
The
but
only
it's,
animal we saw in the forest of Weir was that ice bat thing that was totally
Yeah.
hairless.
This-
And it just looked like
the squid.
the
ice-
rubber
ice
squid
stingray
horse.
or whatever. It was.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Stingray.
Stingray, yeah.
Yeah, that pulled the ice skating twins
Yeah.
with the captured Barbarella to the
That in no way looked
Crash
like
ship.
a repurposed
Yeah.
raincoat. No
Right.
way,
Yeah.
in no way at all.
No.
It's like absolutely the opposite of that.
yeah.
Yeah, didn't look fake at all.
No,
So it was
Yeah,
amazing.
my self-grown rug room. That's not creepy.
yeah, right. All right, so
Creepy.
Now, yeah,
There's so
So-
many creepy moments in this movie.
yeah. I don't think I could have gone there on my own. So,
yeah, so Barbarella finally and Pygar finally get to Sogo, right? And they land there, and Pygar says, "No, we have to go in a back door because to be seen with an angel would be an anathema, basically, right?"
And she's immediately seen.
She's
with an
immediately
angel.
seen with the angel, right? And then,
I was honestly expecting someone to say that's what she said when you started talking about back doors, because that's where this show is going. It is.
hey, I didn't say anything about her fishing in
I
for
am so proud
Pygar's
of you.
pecker.
He has been waiting.
I think just call it the junk box from this point on. Pygar's junk box. Yeah,
Yes.
just there it is.
There it
Right
is.
There, bang, put it on the table.
So they're seen by the people of Sogo, and then some of them go out and start to harass them. They escape into a room that's,
Well, she escapes into the suicide room, and Pygar gets captured.
well, they both go into the suicide room together, right? Because she
Do
says,
they?
Pygar, back up because there's a room behind us. There's a way out
Oh,
behind us.
right.
And they both go in there, and then they find out it's a room of death. You can choose the
Choose
way you
your
want to
suicide.
die. Death by Bunga Bunga, death by Mathmos, death by whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
these different doors
I'll
open,
take
and you hear,
Mathmos.
yeah, and you hear
'Cause
different
I know
screaming.
what Bunga Bunga is. I do.
Yeah.
I'll take the Mathmos every time.
you'll always choose door number 3.
Yeah,
Did anyone notice that one of the supporting people in the group, like where Professor Ping was, looked like a full-size Peter Dinklage? There's one guy in there.
really?
One guy.
Huh.
He looks, and he's just got that whole head. It's like,
Huh?
I was too busy just like noticing all the people who were like growing into the rock,
Yeah.
but still like having sex.
Yes.
Yeah, priorities. It's a good-
Or the people who were like walking around with the rock on their head and with no explanation, by the way.
Right.
don't need one.
No, you didn't.
Because,
And
I
then,
mean, no, you don't want to pull at the whole thread of Barbarella. You start explaining one thing, you have to explain all of it. And, there's just no way to do it. So
Well,
just let the rock guy walk. Let him go.
I mean, even she wasn't curious about it, though.
Nope.
It's like, wow, that's weird. That person's is like, they're all rock now, but someone's still, like, doing the sex thing with them.
Well, think of the planets she's probably seen where weird stuff happens like that. I mean, she travels the galaxy in her spaceship.
But she was, like, totally brand new to sex, though.
Yeah,
It's like,
she
she
well,
had
keeps
no
portraying
sexual
an
knowledge.
innocent.
That you don't think she has, or that you think she
Well, I
has?
don't know.
Well,
I'm
no,
just
no.
saying
Well,
there's a
I mean,
conflict.
the Mathmos kicked her out because
Yeah.
of her goodness.
Yeah.
Because of her innocence.
You are so good, Barbarella. You made the Mathmos vomit.
Yes. Right. And so did Pygar.
So, to this newly initiated sexual being,
Mm-hmm.
you'd think they should stop for a minute and say, look at that. That's it. Just look, there's that.
Right.
I know what that is now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I don't think that's how you do it. And even with their limited experience, that's not how you do it. You just,
Are they supposed to be fully encased in rock while doing this? No one's concerned about this.
Well, they were getting their rocks off.
That pun even hurt me.
that made my poop sick. that's just bad. That's just so bad.
What's wrong with you?
Oh man. Man, the milk I have back at my apartment is now bad because of that pun. It's like it just made all the produce in my entire refrigerator just wilt. Oh God, Bill.
I think this show's going to be a lot of editing.
Oh my God. Charles seems totally unaffected by what I'll just call the pun storm.
No. Yeah, I was thinking about something to do with rock climbing, but I think you beat it. So it's more of a
Literally.
yeah.
What did you have? What were you thinking about in terms of rock climbing? Was
No, I was just mentally I was going to spin in rock climbing because that's
Yeah.
what
Kroll?
sounded
Kroll.
sexual to me.
And that would have made Kroll much more interesting on the rock climbing scenes if there were people embedded in the rock having sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
It would have helped.
Yeah.
Kroll, it really
A
would have.
lot of things could have helped Kroll.
Yes. Like not
Anything could have helped Crow.
using all the B-roll rather than like the primary footage, which is what it seemed like they did. It's like
Yeah.
they used all that extra footage. So
Right.
it was awful.
The castle could have just been completely carpeted in 3-inch fur.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been sweet. The space shag coming, 10 minutes of orange shag just landing
that-
on
Flying
the
by the
planet.
camera.
No, I want them to work because you don't want to be in a shag place and have fire come out of your hands
True.
like in Kroll. Right?
True.
Well,
That
it won't,
would
There's
it
a
won't
death
catch on
trap.
fire. It'll just melt. That's just nylon. That's what they just discovered, like polymer fabrics, and it's like it was all the rage.
Well, they might have had it treated with a
Took
fire
it a little too
sweet
far.
treatment.
Of
Probably had
oil.
asbestos in it too.
We're talking about the people who invented the leisure suit and thought it was the great. They actually thought that was going to replace clothes.
Yeah.
That the leisure suit was the wave of the future. And it's like, so yeah, we really should lean on these people as
lot.
the paragons of wisdom
Right.
in terms of fashion. So yeah, perhaps. But shag, I feel that they threw the baby out with the bathwater there because shag's awesome.
Yeah.
It is.
So
And-
now,
No, please.
here's my next question. So they capture. So they go to the room of death. They are rescued.
Room of death. I just
They
like
were-
the sound of that.
Yeah, they're rescued from the, and I say rescued by the evil assistant to the queen,
The concierge.
the concierge. Correct. They're rescued out of there, only to be taken to another way of death. right?
But what a way of death it was.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking first about the bird. They're thrown
that
in
was
with
the
a bunch
bird
of
death.
finches.
Well, she's
Parakeets.
thrown in.
They
She's
were
separated
parakeets.
from Pygar, and then she's thrown into the death by bird cage.
Yeah. And then she falls out of the death by bird cage thing,
To a trap
falls
door.
through a trap door, and ends up in the lair of Dildano.
The
Yeah.
leader of
Well-
the resistance.
Well, it's
Right.
the Resistance headquarter. The lair of Dildano seems to carry way different connotations.
Yeah. That's not the quest you wanted to go on your D&D adventure. roll for adventure. Hey, Dildano. There we are. Yay.
Dildano. So, and he's kind of a doofus.
Yeah.
A doofus perv.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she gets there, but he's working with the resistance, and they're trying to get rid of the queen so they can get rid of the Mathmos and get rid of the evil and fix their society, apparently. And
and he'd been waiting a long time to try hand sex.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah.
he was
Right.
just total fetish on
So
that.
he's total-
on that hand
Right,
section.
because
preferred the
she was
pills.
so as fascinated and as excited Barbarella became by the thought of real sex. Dildano was as excited by the thought of the earth sex with the
pill.
take the rapture pill
Yeah.
and hold your hand out for a minute and and
She
so
was not very excited about that at that
she
point
was
in the
no.
movie.
She once she found real sex, the pill rapture sex meant nothing.
Yeah.
But then they do it anyway, and it was hilarious because Dildano. It goes on for quite a while until smoke starts pouring out of Dildano's ears, right?
Yes.
And
It was
And both
good-
of their
it was
hair,
good for
like
Dildano.
it curls
Yeah.
Barbarella's hair, and
Right.
his just goes nuts.
He just
and-
goes nuts. Smoke starts pouring out of his ears. So it would seem to me that the Earth form maybe isn't as bad as Barbarella let on.
Well,
She didn't seem very excited by that whole thing. She was just like,
Right.
because at one point she kind of forgets that she was doing it, and then he's just like, hey. And
I'm
she's
still
like,
here.
Oh, right. Finished.
Yeah. Right. So that happens, and then they leave to go out and sort of try to get the resistance going. And Barbarella again is captured by the concierge.
Immediately captured.
Immediately captured.
Oh,
but
first
right, go ahead.
she takes a hit of essence of man.
Right. So they have this big bong with a man floating in the water.
Oh, yeah.
And then all these tubes coming off, and there's these people laying around in various forms of undress, smoking, and this woman offers Barbarella a hit
of
on it.
man.
Right. And would you like this? And, well, what is it? Essence of man. So she tries it. That's actually quite good. So about that point, she gets recaptured by the concierge. And this time, she's taken to an interesting machine. John, how would you describe that?
It's kind of like every Doctor Who episode I've ever seen. It has like some of the cheapest effects I've ever seen, but they have power. They punch. It's like, and I don't know how they constructed the, for lack of a better word, orgasmic organ,
Yes.
but it was a fantastic effect. It's like
Yeah.
the
It's undulating.
it's undulating. And that word's just not used as much
No.
as it should be in our
Right.
society. But
Right.
but no, the undulating
Paddles.
louvers.
Louvers, paddles,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a great effect.
Which also have the added option of removing your victim's clothes, garments.
It does. It all by itself.
Shoots them out of the side of the
Yeah.
machine.
At which she was wearing an invisible key at that point, but no one ever she must have kept wearing the invisible
Yeah.
key,
It didn't
even
get
though
it
she was
apparently.
stripped naked.
Right.
Because if it had, they never would have found it. 'Cause
Right.
invisible key.
And so then the concierge is playing the organ, and the more violently and vigorously he plays the organ, the more
Violently
violent and vigorously the
it plays her.
Exactly.
And the concierge, his acting while playing the organ is Oscar worthy.
Yes,
it's
it was.
It's amazing. He's like, his intensity is just awesome. It's right
Yeah.
there. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah. And what the concierge didn't take into account is Barbarella's intense sexuality, which is more than a match for the orgasmic machine.
Yeah.
And as a result, the concierge is playing it so vigorously, and the machine's working so hard, and Barbarella's just going with the flow. The machine starts smoking, the wires catch fire, the machine's burning up, and we actually read this when we were at lunch after watching the show, is that they did not tell any of the actors that the machine was rigged to catch fire
Oh.
because they were afraid they wouldn't want to do the scene.
Yeah, this sounds like a 1960s European production. Yeah.
So that's that might explain why he was so quick to get her out of the machine.
Yes.
How dare you! Quick, get.
Well, and listen, myself, watching the show, up to that point, we've seen this whole ridiculous series of seemingly disjointed pieces that are patched into this movie. And we get to this point, and she's in the machine, and it catches fire. And I'm like, if I was that actress, I would not have gone into that machine having seen the rest of the production. I wouldn't have trusted anybody to be unhigh enough to rescue me in the event of a problem.
Well, the other thing is, back in those times, there was a pretty good chance her hair could have set fire.
Oh,
Yeah,
Very,
right.
yeah.
All the hair care products were
Yeah.
extremely
Yeah.
flammable. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that explains it. They didn't tell him. That's why she was willing to be in there.
Yeah.
That's why she
I
looked fairly concerned during the scene too. She didn't.
Yeah.
I thought that it's the concierge was just like after his machine fails, he's like, you broke my machine. I'll kill you now. Let's get you out of there before you burn to death. But I'll kill you for sure.
Yeah, I know. It was just, it was one ridiculous thing after another. They could have dispatched her so many ways. It was almost like watching a Bond villain,
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
right?
a
Because they put you in this
terrible
seemingly
Bond
inescapable situation in which you will die, and then they don't remain there to watch it actually finish. They just assume it kills you, and they leave, and then, of course, you escape.
Yeah, the bird's one example.
Yeah, the orgasmic machine. And so she gets out of the orgasmic machine, and then about that time, we find out that the concierge is actually
Yep.
Duran, the mad scientist she's looking for. But she didn't recognize him because
Age.
he had aged substantially. Because she was expecting a 25-year-old person, and this guy looks like he's
Our age.
late 50s, early 60s, or whatever, and it's all because the Mathmos ages you. It somehow gives you
It has a price.
yeah.
I think the Mathmos aged him because no one else
Yeah.
there looked.
The evil
like-
queen.
Yeah, the evil
Beautiful.
queen was just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't look like she was suffering any ill effects.
No.
No.
So he's like your typical Sith.
Yeah.
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 But you remember when, all right, after this, the evil queen, la-da-da-da-da, with Barbarella, Duran tries to kill them both, and somehow on a video screen, something comes up and it's Dildano, and Barbarella's like, it's Dildano. He'll rescue us. And my first thought is, he can't do anything.
He can't save himself.
It's like, if that's my hope, then
Yeah.
all hope is lost.
Right.
Because Dildano is not the resistance is not going to save anyone. Did they? Did in the end?
No, they all got sent to the fourth dimension.
I don't remember that, but sweet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
It was
Duran
kind of upsetting.
Duran's invention. Is he's built this laser that's powered by the Mathmos that can send things into the fourth dimension irretrievably.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of the same thing that happened to Robin's minstrels. There was much rejoicing. Yes, Dildano has been banished to the fourth dimension, and we couldn't be happier about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
We couldn't.
Pretty much everyone in the labyrinth and the maze got sent to the fourth dimension, and no one says anything about it after it happens.
Right.
It's just like, oh, well, they're in a better place now. Bye.
But in the process, they managed to destroy all of Sogo. The Resistance, right? And
No, I don't think the Resistance had any role in that at all.
Probably
How did
Duran destroyed.
Oh,
Solo.
it was the Queen, right? Because Barbarella's locked in the room because she's got the invisible key. She can open the invisible door and get into the Queen's inner sanctum.
Gets trapped inside.
She gets
by
trapped
Duran
inside
Duran.
with the Queen, and then the Queen says, well, what he doesn't realize is that I control the Mathmos or something like that, and I will destroy the entire city, and the Mathmos will eat everything.
So she releases the Mathmos, and then Barbarella opens the door, and Pygar flies them both out of there.
Yeah, well, they both get eaten by the Mathmos, but the Mathmos vomits them out because they're too good. And then she gets Pygar to fly them back to her ship so she can get out of there.
Yeah, and at one point I think somebody asked Pygar if they can if he can ever forgive someone for what they did to him, and he's like, an angel has no memory.
Right.
Well, he's clearly remembering Barbarella, so I have that down as an angel has no memory. Pygar, a dumb angel.
Maybe it's angels have no long-term memory. I don't know. We have short-term memory, we angels, but when there's no long-term memory.
When the show ends in a love triangle.
I love every time a little bit of John dies.
Yeah, it's like I think it's all gone. It's like someone pulls a tooth and you look around your mouth with your tongue. It's like there it is. But now it's like I'm so desensitized that
the whole thing makes it because Dildano and the Resistance, anything named after a sex toy, everybody forgets about after it's sent to the fourth dimension.
Right.
Like as if it never happened.
Right.
Which is
kind of like this show.
Yeah, well,
yes. I think one of these days John is going to just tell one of the worst puns ever, and then we will really know that he's fallen to the dark side.
That's what she said.
Or he's going to explode.
He will be under the spell of the Dark Gourd.
All hail Dark Gourd.
Well, here's my thought. I think what we need to do, a project for the Galactic Driftwood team, is to unearth the blueprints for the orgasmic machine and build it as a prop for the next con.
No one would know what it was. Absolutely no one would know it. The only chance, the only people who would know would be the people who go to like Ozfest because they're ancient. And it's but Ozfest is no more. And I think, the last Ozfest, most of the Ozfest members were just one cold and flu season away from death anyway. So it was getting there. It was.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know that there's anyone in the generation would know what it was. It's like,
well, we could put up signs. And maybe
cardboard cutout.
We could preserve the historical wonderness that was the Barbarella.
Yes.
And incite a whole new generation of people to watch Barbarella for some reason.
I think we could do that. We could also get like a backdrop of the inside of her shag spaceship that people could stand and pose in next to a standee of Barbarella.
That would be easy to do.
Yeah.
Well, actually, how hard is it to find 4-inch shag though in modern day America? Do they make it?
There it is, right there.
That's not 4 inches.
No.
Well, that might something like that.
It would pass.
But
my wife is holding up
orange.
My wife is holding up a sheepskin.
Yeah, but we need
Doesn't quite work.
We need like dozens of feet of that. I mean,
that can add up in a price.
We should call Nebraska Furniture Mart and see if they sell shag carpet.
I bet.
Guessing the answer is no, but
I'd imagine they sell everything. It's
so-
like they might not get a lot of order. It might be something that
It has to be special ordered.
Yeah, there's like overnight China will build a whole special village just to make this shag carpet for us. But it's like maybe it could be done. For some reason,
you get that from Amazon. Not,
that really affected
Yeah.
our studio audience. Like I don't. The idea of an entire village just making shag carpet
Right.
has to be. And you know what? For you, Bill,
What
it
do you
doesn't
mean?
have to be orange.
It can be blue.
It can be the blue. Yes. Yes. Special shade. We'll actually call it Barbarella Blue. Just
There
for
you go. I like it.
Just for you. Or Bill Blue. Bill.
Well, you can buy shag carpeting, but not quite what we saw in Barbarella, at least not from my initial search. But
Ah.
I mean, maybe time will tell.
Yeah.
We've got some blue stuff here.
Well,
Yeah.
worth considering.
We can just check every windowless van we see. Sooner or later, we're going to find some.
I
I-
don't want to look in that van.
Yeah.
And I don't want to touch whatever shag carpeting is inside that van after all this time.
I think the only van that probably would work that would have that is probably already in the possession of the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now.
Yeah. So,
Beautiful.
yeah. Where are we at here? I
Yeah,
think,
we're-
It's over.
I think we're at our limit. So,
We plumbed the depths, so to speak, here. So
oh,
All right. So, in summation, are there any lessons to be learned from Barbarella?
yes, don't make a film when you're high.
Yeah.
or do.
Right.
I mean, it's a classic for reasons.
well, true.
It's a classic. It's like a drive-by classic. It's like, look at that. Someone did that. It's like, it's amazing. What amazes me the most is that Jane Fonda had a career after that.
Yeah.
I know. I'm serious. That's the kind of movie that kills people's careers.
Right.
Because you never saw Dildano in his own feature film.
No.
I don't think.
Although Pygar went on to do some stuff after that.
Did he? He was
Did he?
terrible. He was. I did. All right, what did he do?
Let me look.
What did Pygar do? Because it's like, no, if he got written, I mean, decent lines, but Pygar's heart just wasn't in it. Whoever the actor was, just, I don't want to do this, but rents do. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do this month? Make this Barbarella. I was like, yeah.
So that was played by John Philip Law.
Okay.
And
And he turned into a grown-up actor that did things.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Well,
But
sweet.
I would like just something a little critical about this. I think.
Okay.
I
In
think if
contrast
you're
to
going to
everything
do,
else.
I think if you're going to do a film concerning sexual revolution themes, there should be a definite beginning, climax, and resolution. And I don't think this film was very clear.
No.
In what? In
The climax or the resolution.
okay.
Yeah, the end of the movie left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, but I
because it
think
was
Charles
just,
talking about the wisdom money shot is that he's not feeling that it was there for him. He
I
didn't
think
see the culmination.
I think the problem was is that the film had too many climaxes.
but
Yeah.
Get back to work on what you're doing.
Okay,
finding
so I
about-
found
Yes.
it. I was just trying to create an interlude here.
Interlude. It's like, just put on a little Barry White, turn up the candles. You're
Oh, that's right. No, it was the whole film was nothing but foreplay.
Yeah. Okay, so John Philip Law. So
No, you're right. Actually, there was nothing that like actually justified the hours that we spent watching it. Even though it
Right.
wasn't hours, it felt like it. It did.
So, following a breakthrough role as a Russian sailor in The Russians Are Coming, from 1966, Law became best known for his role as gunfighter Bill Mecita, Mesita, in the spaghetti western Death Rides a Horse, 1967.
Wait, so he did Barbarella after this?
Yes. Then
He had
was,
options?
Then he was the blind angel Pygar in the cult science fiction film Barbarella with Jane Fonda. Then, after that, he played the title character in the cult action film Danger Diabolic,
Well,
which
wasn't
was filmed
Same time, right?
at
Yeah.
by the same crew.
Yeah, they
as
did share a lot of
Barbarella.
actors from that too.
They filmed Danger Diabolic and then Barbarella. And then after that, he played the character of Manfred von Richthofen in Von Richthofen and Brown, 1971. Then he was news anchor Robin Stone in The Love Machine. You've all heard of that.
Yeah.
I don't watch
Chickle
porno,
Bomb.
so no.
And let's see. Later reteamed with Alexandra Hay, his co-star from the 1968 acid comedy Skidoo.
Skidoo.
All right.
So,
I don't know. It's fun to say.
quite an accomplished career.
Thanks.
Oh, he was also in the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Attack Force Z,
With Mel Gibson.
Space Mutiny, and also featured in the movie mocking TV series Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Well, of course it was. It's for this movie. For the one we just talked about.
He
God, I'd love to see that MSK 3000. That MST 3000. I would love to see them roast Barbarella. I think
Yeah.
that'd be incredible.
Yeah, it
In
would
fact, why didn't we see that before?
It might
we
be
did
just
this?
so easy though; they won't even do it because it's just so rife for.
I guess if we'd actually seen it,
Yeah.
we would have lost the will to do this episode. So
Right.
yeah, no, it's just as well that we did not.
Law's final credited film role was in 2008's Chinaman's Chance. So up until very recently, he was still acting.
But I mean, I can't believe that he did Barbarella after doing popular movies
He was
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
in films.
that people liked.
Oh, so in December of 2007, so his last film was in 2008. In December of 2007, doctors diagnosed him with pancreatic cancer. He died 5 months later, May 13th, 2008, at his home in Los Angeles. So
Now he's an angel.
actually, he's got his filmography is quite
Expansive,
extensive.
yeah.
It is actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of films he was in.
Well, I'm glad Barbarella didn't like sniper his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to look up Dildano's career.
Well, let's see.
Oh, boy.
I'm
Here we go.
I'm curious. I
well,
want to
I
know.
think we need to get to our big announcement.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We do. We can probably look that up later, as can all of you. I mean, everybody's got Google, right?
Everyone has IMDb.
Inquiring minds want to know about the course of Dildano's life. Okay, so our big exciting announcement is that there is a science fiction audio drama that is being recorded right here in Omaha. Actually, we had a recording session here in this very studio just last weekend. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have the creative team that's putting that together on our show, the next podcast. We've got 3 ladies coming. Mary Oliver, who is the author of the audio drama and also the artistic director, will be here, as will April Corbett, who is the sound engineer and composer for the audio drama, and Katie Otten, who's the acting director. And I should also mention Katie plays a character in the film, the voice of Bailey, and Mary Oliver also plays a character. She's voicing the character of Moselle in the show. And I'll just give you, there's a quick synopsis of the audio drama. So it takes place in the town of Dundee, crouching uncomfortably in the ruins of Omaha, is the only place not covered in the haze, a fog that brings madness and death to those who enter it. It has been 131 years since a voice from the outside of the town has been heard. One evening, a broadcast of unknown origin is intercepted. Curious, the town sends 4 volunteers to brave the haze in search of the originator of the message, each one traveling north, south, east, or west across the Midwest and reporting their exploration and discoveries and Tales in an Evening Report. So anyway, we'll have them on the show next time, and we'll learn all about this new audio drama and when they expect to have it out and where you might be able to find it. And actually, I too, in full disclosure, am going to be one of the actors on the show. I think I'm playing the role of a mad scientist, which would be a stretch for me.
Can they survive your puns, though? I mean, do you rein it in for other shows?
Well, I
mean,
just
out of
I have to
politeness?
stick to the script. Yes.
All right, but no,
Probably
In
hurts him.
between
so
acting,
see,
puns
now-
are fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in between acting. Okay.
Yes.
All right. It's
Right.
like
Right. I'm free to haze them all I want.
you are free to do as you will, sir.
How do
You
the
are.
how,
All hail the gourd. Yeah.
how do the other voice actors survive entering the house of puns?
Yeah. No doubt. It's like
we know they have.
Huh.
it's like there's a strange negative punic energy floating in the air. I
They
can
could all
feel it.
be in the math below my house.
Yes.
Or the mist of this new story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
We're all, yes.
They
Terrible.
could be the haze.
It's terrible. It's like yeah.
The haze of puns.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking
Not only
forward-
are you in the story, you probably inspired the story.
Huh. Well, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I
am
think so.
Too. I am.
Yeah.
That's didn't Miss Otten do our intro?
She did. Yep. So those of you that watch the show from beginning to end will have heard Katie Otten open us and send us out at the end of every show. So yeah, she's an accomplished actress in the Omaha area. She's going to be teaching acting actually out at UNO. She just got hired for that. And she also does voice acting. You'll hear her on different shows, video games. She voice acts, and so
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're interested in seeing some of Katie Otten's work, we have those linked on our contributors page
on the website.
Oh, sweet.
on the website.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's our exciting message for this episode. So tune in next time for information on the haze. And until then, keep listening. Listen as many times as you want.
Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend.
Right? Watch with a friend.
Get it out there. Do it. Do it now. Do
Hey,
it.
I'm Bill.
I'm John.
I'm Charles.
I'm Audie.
And I'm Seth.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.